All right, thanks for joining. First up is going to be Brandon Terrell with Made for the W, followed by Raphael Haynes.
Hey, Kia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So with the Mercury's My Kick My Cause initiative, can you provide any hints at what type of PEs we'll possibly see from you this season? You're known for bringing out some heat.
Yes, I will bring more heat. Don't you worry about that. I was very excited. Obviously, my PEs were kind of in the works before the whole trade and everything happened. So that was like one of my first calls was to Jordan Brand. Like, we need purple, we need orange, we got to change some things up here. And so some of the cool stories that I had from my life that came out in the bubble will also come out in obviously the newer version of these Jordans and the 35s. The 36s will come out at some point this season, and there's a very special addition to that. So I did have an addition to my family and my nephew, and I have a new nephew that's coming in about 5 weeks. So they will get their own shoe, and I'm very excited for that one to debut.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So can you talk about your off-season partnerships? You recently joined the Coca-Cola family, as well as how do you feel about the expansion of the roster for women's athletes at Jordan Brand?
I'm excited that we were able to expand the roster at Jordan Brand. Obviously, I think what we try to do there is make sure that each and every person that's watching basketball, young women growing up playing basketball, can have somebody within the brand that they can resonate with. And we all have different stories and different backgrounds, and I think that's what makes us special. When we talk about Jordan Brand being a family, and I know a lot of brands say this is a family, Jordan Brand is very close knit. There's an exclusivity to it. There's not a lot of people in the brand for a reason. And that's why the family atmosphere becomes even closer. So there's a lot that we're doing this year. Obviously, the women's side of the brand is continuing to grow. I'm obsessed with all of the women's clothing that they come out with constantly. And so I'm glad that that was able to grow. And on the branding side, for me personally, I've been very fortunate this off season to continue to build on a number of different brands and different partnerships within the United States, but mainly within Canada as well. I knew coming out of college that there was a market there as one of few female basketball players that are out in Canada. So being able to work with the Raptors and on national television every single day there that they played games, that was helpful as well. And I'm grateful to have these brands like Coca-Cola behind me.
Next up is Raphael Haynes with the three-point conversion, followed by Michelle Vopel.
Hey, Kia, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks.
Good, good. Kia, it's media day, so we're not going to be too serious today. So I know you and Bria are very tight. I want to ask you first, if you know your spirit animal, can you say what is your spirit animal and what do you think Bria's spirit animal is?
Oh, no. I'm never that serious, so don't worry about that. I would say my spirit animal is a giraffe. That's why I had giraffe peas last year. My family, well, my brother especially has a very long neck, so we used to make fun of him for that. So we're called the giraffes, according to my mom. And so that would be my spirit animal. Bria, I think she would be a bit of a lion. I think it's a bit like she knows what she wants and she's gonna go and get it and she's gonna fight for it. So she's got that kind of predator to her, but like that wild kind of outside of the box kind of thinking, that's also Bria. So that's where I would say she's a lion in a lot of different ways.
And then quickly, if you can choose any part of Diana's game, Skylar's and Bria, what would you take from their game and add to yours?
All of it? No. I would say Diana's mentality. I think every time she shoots the ball, she knows it's going in and I know it's going in. So I'm running back on defense anyways. So that mentality that she has to just win every single play. Skylar's ability to read pick and rolls and get in the paint and make decisions around bigs. That's exactly what I would take. And everything Bria does is just smooth. When you watch her shoot the ball, it comes off with ease. The backspin's always perfect. She's got the perfect arc all the time. So I would take that from her game as well.
Next, we'll go to Michelle Vopel with ESPN, followed by Maggie Hendricks.
Yeah, Kia, when you go through a season as sort of mentally tough as last year was, where you're grinding and you guys, it was just so hard to get wins. What positive did you take out of that in terms of about yourself and how you were able to keep, as I said, grinding in spite of, how difficult it was? And does it feel just like a sort of a lighter than air, fresh start to be somewhere else for you now?
Yeah, this is definitely, a fresh start and a fresh opportunity. I know when I got the call about the trade, I love New York. I love my teammates. There's a lot that I didn't really want to leave behind, but I knew this was going to be a really awesome opportunity for me to come and learn from the best in the world every single day. To get to play against them in practice only makes me better every single day. And so being here I'm very happy. That's the best way I can put it. I'm happy to get up every single day, happy to go to the gym, no matter how hard the workout or how hard the practice is that day. I leave the gym excited about tomorrow and coming back and doing it all again. And that's how it's supposed to be. This is our job to play sports and to put a ball in a hoop and run around the court for a couple hours, but it shouldn't be something that, is hard or mentally draining. And at times in the bubble, that's what it was for me. I think what I learned in that situation and in that season for me was how to continue to push through, how to grind it out, like you said. You're going to be in seasons like that. Not every season is perfect. Not every team is perfect. Every year looks different. And for me, that was the situation that I was in. It didn't help that I was injured. I learned a little bit more about my body and finding ways to take care of it a little bit better as well through that season. And obviously through the off season that I was able to have in Canada as well. But resiliency is probably the biggest thing that I learned, and just continuing to find different ways to impact the game. If I wasn't knocking down shots, which I was not by any means last year, then finding ways to be more of a facilitator, finding ways to be impactful on the defensive end or energy wise. And I think for me, I tried to do that every single game, whether we were winning or losing.
Next up is Maggie Hendricks with Valley Sports, and then Paul Richardson.
Hi, Kia. I'm wondering, I know she just got into town yesterday, but I'm wondering what you think Brittney Griner is going to bring to help elevate your game.
Well, I think obviously with BG, she's such a presence on the inside that defenders and teams have to come up with schemes to really guard our entire team. And BG is a big part of that. I think when you look at what you do in terms of a scouting report, it's a pick your poison kind of situation, right? What are you trying to take away from each team every single night? Well, if you look at our team, who are you trying to take away every single night? BG is going to be on top of that list for sure on the inside. DT and Skylar are also going to be on the top of that list. And then we have pieces around them as well. So I think there's just a toughness to BG, an ability to score, obviously around anybody, her ability to pick a set of pick and roll. That was the first time I played with her yesterday in practice, and as easy of a pick and roll as it can be, coming off that screen and being able to throw it up in places where only she can catch it. And for me as a shooter on the outside, I hope that I'm able to give her a little bit more space, keep defenders closer home to me. And if not, then we make them pay for that. You want to go double or triple team, we've got shooters at the 3-point line. And for my game, that's where I tend to thrive a little bit there in that catch and shoot situation.
We have time for 3 more. Next is Paul Richardson with the Sports Cave, followed by Cindy Brunson.
First, welcome to your first 100-degree day yesterday. There's a lot more coming. Skylar said when you have this much talent, it's easy to find who's cooking, and that's who you get the ball to. But on the other side, how do you have the patience when maybe tonight is Diana's night, tomorrow's BG's night, the next night is Skylar's night? How do you stay ready and keep your patience knowing it's going to come to you, but it may be a couple games out before it does?
I just want to win games. I've had 3 seasons where we've been really up and down, haven't gotten a lot of wins. And I came from college where I only lost 3 games in 4 years. And so at this point, whoever's on fire that night, if that's helping us win a game, I'm not mad about it. That's how I want to be able to play. I understand that in this league and obviously on this team, when there's so much talent, like you mentioned, it's going to be someone's night. It could be 2 people's night. It could be 3 people's night on any given night. And it's not about how many shots you make. It's about when you make your shot a lot of times. Sometimes if, one of the players, DT, goes off for 40 one night and at the end of the game, we're on a dire need and all of a sudden they triple team her and Skylar knocks in a shot. That's all you need, right? It's a win. And so for me, that's kind of just the mentality that I'm going in with, being there to know that if I have an open shot, I have to take it. So to make sure that the defense still tries to defend me. If I have an easy pass, make the easy pass. The cool thing about this team and playing, especially in training camp so far, basketball is just so easy. Like DT knows how to make it so easy. Skylar knows how to make it easy. BG, Bria when she's there. So being a part of that is exciting because I just want to win at this point. It's been too long since we've had winning season for me.
Final 2 questions are Cindy Brunson and Alex Simon.
Hey, Kia, welcome to the Valley.
Thank you.
Really quick for me, because of your Toronto connections and the fact that 144 just doesn't seem enough. It really feels like the W is ready for expansion. Do you envision the WNBA being successful north of the border? And would you be a part of an ownership group potentially to make that happen?
Okay, so it depends on a lot of things. North of the border, obviously, I think we've found success in doing it with the Raptors to a certain extent. They do find a little bit of trouble to getting superstars to play there for some reason. Kawhi, I think, is helping kind of change that narrative of what's happening in the North. But at the same time, I do think because there was a championship in 2019, like anybody else, we are bandwagoners and we jump on basketball. And right now, that's what's happened in Canada. I think it's hard for people to really understand that when you play for the Raptors, you're not representing just that one city, you're representing an entire country. And that's why that championship was so big. We've seen such a jump in desire to even start playing the game from the grassroots level in Canada. And so I think in 10, 15 years, we're going to see even bigger numbers of kids leaving Canada to go play in the NCAA or play in the NBA or play in the WNBA. And that'll be a direct result of watching the Raptors win a championship, watching the Raptors have success over the last couple of years. So I do think there is a place where the WNBA could be successful north of the border in Canada, just simply because people want to watch basketball. People want to support women's basketball. Our national team helps a little bit, sitting at 4th in the world versus our men still trying to kind of make their way into that Olympic qualifier and going through their tournament. And so there's definitely a place where it can. There's a lot of planning that's going to have to go in. A lot of people that are going to have to jump on board in order for it to happen. For me, if it's later in my life, an ownership piece of it might look a little bit different depending on where I am and where I live at that point. In mid-career, I'm not sure I could be an owner and a player. That would throw me off a little bit. But I do think there is an opportunity there. And the W obviously takes care of the 12 teams that we have right now. But if there's a place to expand, I think the North is somewhere that you do have to take a look at.
Final question is Alex Simon with the Next.
Hi, Kia. It's funny you just brought this up. I wanted to ask you about the Canadian Olympic team, and in particular, by being with, the Australian head coach and multiple potential opals, as well as with, Diana, Skylar, and Brittney. Do you kind of get to feel like you get to kind of be on the side of maybe any of the potential Olympic smack talk that's happening with the team? And then just in general, your prep.
I expect that to be, I expect us to still have, our fun out there. Once you put on a different jersey, then you're no longer friends anymore just for that 40 minutes. But definitely think it's really exciting to be here and be around players who are going to play in the Olympics, who have played in multiple Olympics, because there's a lot of different things that you learn from going to those situations that you wouldn't have learned without that experience. And when you have vets that are willing to kind of share those other little things with you, that's great. If I can help with the scouting reports a little bit, that's great as well. Hoping the Opals run similar plays to what we're running here. So I'm sure we'll cross over with them at some point. But excited to continue to get better every single day. When you get to play the best in the world in practice every day, let alone going out and playing games a couple times a week as well, you only get better. Like I have to chase Skylar off screens most days, and that helps me in a million ways because once I get on the court, everything else seems a little bit easier. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and hopefully Canada gets it done this year.
Thank you for the time, Kia.
Okay.